Hey, welcome. If you've ever felt just totally overwhelmed by money, trust me, you are not alone. So today, we're going to break down a really simple step-by-step plan that's helped millions of people trade all that financial stress for some actual financial peace. Let's dive in. Okay, so where do you even start, right? Should I be putting money in my 401k or should I be paying off this monster credit card bill with 18% interest? And what about saving for the kids' college or, oh yeah, building an emergency fund? It's so easy to feel completely paralyzed by all these decisions.
And you know what happens when you're that overwhelmed? You get hit with what they call paralysis of the analysis. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You just freeze. You get stuck. And absolutely no progress gets made because you're trying to do everything at once. When everything's a priority, nothing is. So how in the world you cut through all that noise? Well, the plan we're looking at lays out a super clear sequential path that's designed to give you one thing: focus. It's called the 7 baby steps. And here they are, the 7 baby steps. Now listen, the most important thing to get here is that you do these in order, one at a time. You can't skip around. The whole system is designed to build momentum. See, you start with these quick wins to get you fired up, then you build this solid foundation of security before you even think about moving on to the long-term wealth-building stuff. The key, really, is just intense focus on one single goal at a time.
And that beginning, it's described as an all-out sprint. We're talking gazelle intensity, like you're running from a predator. The first 3 steps are not a permanent lifestyle change. No way. They are a short, super intense period of sacrifice, all designed to get you to a stable, ground zero financial position as fast as humanly possible.
So how intense are we talking here? Well, so intense that your own grandmother thinks you need counseling. Seriously, your lifestyle looks completely alien to everybody around you. You're eating rice and beans. You're selling so much stuff that people are genuinely getting worried about you. It just goes to show you the kind of countercultural focus it takes to get out of debt fast.
Let's look at a real-world example from the source material. This guy's name is Brian, and that number you see, that's the amount of debt he was facing, 66 grand. That is a daunting number, right? And his initial plan to tackle it? Well, it reflected that. So Brian's goal was to be debt-free in 2 years. And honestly, that sounds pretty ambitious, right? Pretty reasonable. But the plan he was given was way more aggressive. We're talking about getting it all paid off by Christmas. So in about 6 months. The question is, how is that even possible?
Well, it required what's called a scorched earth approach. And this is where it gets tough. Pausing all retirement contributions, and yes, I mean even the company match. Liquidating non-retirement investments. And draining all your savings down to a bare-bones $1,000 starter emergency fund. This is that gazelle intensity in action. Think about that for a second. Living with only $1,000 in the bank, it's terrifying. And the source material points out that that fear, that little knot you feel in your stomach just thinking about it, is actually a powerful motivator. It's the fuel. It's what's going to drive you to get through this debt sprint as fast as you possibly can so you don't have to live in that scary place for very long. But here's the good news. That intense sprint has a finish line. And after you've paid off all your debt, except the house, and you've built up a full emergency fund, the entire mindset shifts. You go from being intense to being intentional. This is where the long-term wealth-building phase begins. This is the marathon. Once you're out of that sprint, man, you can finally breathe. The pressure is off. You have no payments except for your mortgage, and you have this huge safety net sitting in the bank. Now you can start investing for retirement, saving for your kids' college, and paying off the house. And you do all of that at the same time. You can actually live a more normal life again. But now it's with a really clear purpose. So, how long does this marathon take? Well, according to the research mentioned in the source, the average person who follows this plan from start to finish, they become an everyday millionaire in about 10 to 12 years. Pretty incredible. Okay, let's talk about escaping the money maze. Because there's one part of this plan that gets a huge amount of pushback, and that's getting rid of your credit cards. I know. People love their points. They love their free vacations. But the argument here is that this is one of the biggest myths in all of personal finance. The pitch is always the same, right? Beat the system, get free stuff. But the truth, according to the source material, is that you're playing a rigged game. It's designed by billion-dollar marketing departments for one reason and one reason only, to get you to spend more money than you otherwise would. You're not beating the system, you're just a mouse in their maze.
To really explain this, there's this brilliant analogy. Imagine you go to Chuck E. Cheese, okay? And you start with $10. You play the games, you're having fun, and you feel like a huge winner as the machine just spits out this ridiculously long stream of tickets. You feel like you've totally struck it rich. But then you go to the prize counter to cash in your winnings, and you find out that those hundreds and hundreds of tickets, they're only worth like a quarter. And you get some sticky hands and a pack of gum. You spent $10 for a prize that's practically worthless.
And that right there, that is the credit card rewards game. The perceived value, the 100,000 points. It feels massive, but the actual value you get in return is tiny compared to the extra money they've convinced you to spend just to get it.
And the data totally backs this up. Study after study shows you spend more with plastic than with cash. These companies are running literally thousands of experiments a year to manipulate your behavior. And get this, in a study of over 10,000 millionaires, not a single one said they got rich by gaming credit card points. So the argument is, the only way to win a rigged game is to just not play. You know, this all comes down to challenging our whole idea of what's normal. I mean, normal in our culture is car payments, right? It's student loans, it's credit card debt. Normal is having a student loan that's been around for so long you think it's a pet. But if normal means being broke and stressed out all the time, then maybe normal sucks, and maybe it's time to reject it.
Look, the principles behind this whole plan, living on less than you make, staying out of debt, saving for the future, these aren't some radical new ideas. The source argues they used to just be called common sense. But because that's become so rare these days, just practicing it, well, that's become a kind of financial superpower.
So we're going to leave you with this final question. We're all taught to follow the normal path with our money, right? But what if following the crowd, staying in debt, and playing that points game, what if that is actually the riskiest financial plan of all?